the strangest rule your parents had about bedtime? When I was little, my mother believed that dreams weren't private. She said a family that hid their dreams from each other would eventually start hiding everything else. So every single night, before anyone was allowed to sleep, we had what she called dream preparation. The 5 of us sat in the living room in matching pajamas while she wrote the date in a thick notebook. Then she'd point to each person. What are you planning to dream about tonight? It sounded silly, but she expected a real answer. If my brother said, I don't know, she'd keep him awake until he came up with one. If I said I wanted to dream about flying, she'd ask why. If I wanted to dream about my friends, she'd ask why they mattered more than family. Nothing was ever just an answer. Everything became an interrogation. After that came the inspection. She checked under every bed, inside every closet, behind every curtain. Not because she thought someone was hiding there. She said bad dreams waited in empty spaces. Then she'd tuck us in, kiss our foreheads, and leave our bedroom doors wide open. Closing a bedroom door was forbidden. A closed door traps nightmares inside. If one of us woke up scared during the night, we weren't allowed to comfort each other. We had to wake her first. She insisted only parents knew how to remove fear correctly. At school, kids talked about staying up late watching movies. I couldn't relate. My bedtime wasn't a time. It was a ceremony. By middle school, it lasted nearly 2 hours every night. I stopped asking friends to sleep over because I knew they'd think it was weird. I honestly didn't. I thought every family had their own version. Mine just cared more. When I turned 15, I started writing stories. Nothing special. Just little fantasy adventures in a notebook. One night, Mom found it. The next evening, she added a new rule. Before bed, I had to read every page aloud. She said stories came from dreams, and dreams belonged to the family. Whenever a character reminded her of someone, she'd question me. Why is the mother mean? Who does this father represent? Who taught you to think like this? Eventually, I stopped writing. It wasn't worth the conversation. Then I started dating Ethan. He was kind, patient, and completely fascinated by how organized my family seemed. When he asked why I never answered texts after 9, I laughed. That's dream time. He thought I was joking. For my 17th birthday, my parents invited him to stay until bedtime. I was excited. I thought he'd finally understand why our family felt so close. I even warned him to wear comfortable pajamas because Mom always kept extra sets for guests. He laughed. I didn't. She handed him a folded pair the moment he walked in. He looked confused but politely changed. At 9 o'clock, everyone gathered in the living room. Mom opened her notebook. She smiled at Ethan. Since you're here tonight, you'll share your dream with us too. He blinked. My dream? The one you're planning? He looked at me, expecting me to laugh. Instead, I smiled back. Just tell her something nice. The room went quiet. He slowly said he hoped to dream about visiting the beach. Mom asked why. He answered. She asked 3 more questions. Then she wrote every word down. When she finished, she asked if he'd ever had romantic dreams about me. I remember feeling embarrassed, but mostly because I thought he wasn't answering clearly enough. A few minutes later, he quietly asked where the bathroom was. I pointed down the hall. He never came back. Instead, there was a knock at the front door. His older sister was standing outside. She'd come to pick him up. He walked past us without even putting his shoes on. Before leaving, he looked straight at me. He didn't look angry. He looked worried. The next day, he told me he'd never realized someone could grow up believing privacy was selfish. He said the notebook scared him more than anything. Not because it existed, but because I acted like it was completely normal. We broke up a few weeks later. Not because he stopped caring, because I couldn't understand why he was so uncomfortable. It took years, therapy, and living on my own before I realized something. Trust doesn't require constant access. Love doesn't need nightly reports. And bedtime isn't supposed to feel like a performance. I still have trouble sleeping with my bedroom door closed. Some habits stay with you.